Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. It's Ashley with Level Up English, and today we are going to do an awesome lesson to help you to speak fluently. This lesson is on adverbs of frequency. In case you didn't know, adverbs of frequency are used all the time by native and non-native speakers, and they help us to talk about how often we do something or how often we don't do something. Let's start by answering the question on everyone's mind. What are adverbs of frequency? Well, simply put, adverbs of frequency describe how often something occurs. You see this word frequency. Frequency. The word frequency means the number of times something happens within a period of time. And so, adverbs of frequency simply means the number of times you do something within a specific period of time. Let me give you an example. We have these two very common words, and I'm sure you've heard these words before. These words are often and never. The word often refers to something happening quite regularly. Example, I often learn new English words. This means that I regularly spend time learning English words. Then we have the word never. Now, never refers to something not happening, ever. Example, I never speed while driving my car. This means that I don't ever speed while I drive my car. I don't do it at all. In our lesson today, we are going to look at 10 adverbs of frequency, what they mean, and how to use them in a sentence. The words we will be looking at are never, rarely, seldom, occasionally, sometimes, often, generally, frequently, usually, and always. If you want to level up your English and improve your grammar and fluency, then continue watching this video. During this lesson, you will see a little bar with a percentage on it. The percentage in the bar will explain how often something is done. Let's look at our first word, never. We can see the percentage is 0%. This means I spend 0% of my time doing whatever it is I am talking about. As I explained earlier, the word never refers to something that is not done at all. Example, I never drive recklessly. This means that I drive recklessly 0% of the time. I spend no time driving recklessly. Our next word is rarely. Rarely. Be careful with the pronunciation of this word so that it doesn't sound like the word really. Let's say it together one more time. Rarely. Rarely is another way of saying not something that happens a lot. We can see our percentage here is about 20%. So we can use rarely to talk about things that happen about 20% of the time. Example, I rarely study English. This means I hardly ever study English. In a month, I probably study English 20% of the time that I should be studying English. Another example is I rarely go to the mall. This means that I hardly ever go to the mall. It is not something that I do a lot. In a year, I go to the mall maybe just a few times. Let's look at our third adverb of frequency. This word is seldom. It is also very similar to rarely, but seldom means that you do something, but you just don't do it as much as you should. Example, I seldom cook during the week. This means that I do cook sometimes, but I do it less than usual. We can also say, I seldom exercise, which is unfortunately true for me. This means that while I do exercise, I only exercise 30% of the time that I should be exercising. Our fourth adverb of frequency is occasionally. Now, I personally love this word because it comes from the word occasion, which refers to a particular event. Now, just like occasions aren't something that happen all the time, the word occasionally also refers to something that happens at special times. So it's not something that happens all the time. Another very common way of saying this is that something happens now and then. We can see from the bar that occasionally refers to something that happens 40% of the time. We can say, I occasionally cook a 3-course meal. This means that I do it on special occasions. It is not something that I do all the time, but it is something that I do. Our 5th word for this lesson is sometimes. Now, sometimes is a lovely word to use to describe something that you do more often than occasionally. Sometimes is used for things that happen 50% of the time. Example, sometimes I go swimming at night. This means that 50% of the time that I go swimming, it is at night. Another example is, sometimes I study English after dinner. This means that while I don't study English every night after dinner, I do study English after dinner sometimes. So maybe 50% of the time. Our 6th adverb of frequency is often. Now, I mentioned the word often at the beginning of this lesson because it really is a very popular adverb of frequency. The word often simply means many times. Let's look at an example. I can say, I often record videos to help students learn English. This sentence means that I regularly record videos to help students learn English, or I record videos many times to help students learn English. I can also say, I often eat rice for dinner. This means that I eat rice a lot for dinner. It is something that I regularly do. Our 7th adverb of frequency is the word generally. This is also another fantastic word, and I like this word because it's another way of saying that something is normal for you. It is something that is a part of your life. Example, I generally go to bed at 9 p.m. This means that it is normal for me to go to bed at 9 p.m. every day. This is something that is a part of my routine. We can also say, I generally have cereal for breakfast. This means that I have cereal for breakfast almost every day, and this is very normal for me. Our 8th word for the lesson is frequently. This is another way of saying that you do something habitually. For something to happen habitually, it means that it is a part of your daily routine. It happens regularly too. We can say, it is not good to drink alcohol frequently. This means that it is not good to drink alcohol habitually or as a habit. We can also say, I drink water frequently. This means I drink water a lot or as part of a routine. A routine is another way of saying something happens habitually. Our 9th word is unusually. You can see from our percentage bar that unusually is something that happens 90% of the time. Example, I usually feed the birds on my way to work. This means that I feed the birds 90% of the time when I go to work. Maybe in a week there will be one day where I don't feed the birds. So for something that happens most of the time, we can say usually. Another example is, I usually shower before I go to bed. This means that 90% of the time I will shower before I go to sleep. But there are rare occasions where I won't shower before I go to bed. So maybe in a week there will be one day where I don't shower before I go to bed. And finally, our 10th word for this lesson is always. Always means something happens all the time and during all occasions. There are no exceptions to this rule. Example, he always has eggs for breakfast. This means every day, 7 days a week, he has eggs for breakfast. There are no exceptions. Another example is, she always buys her grandmother flowers when she goes to visit. This means that she never visits her grandmother without flowers. If she is going to visit her grandmother, she will buy flowers for her grandmother. There isn't an occasion where she doesn't buy flowers for her grandmother when she visits. And that's it, guys. We just learned 10 adverbs of frequency, and I can definitely say that you are on your way to English fluency if you know how to use adverbs of frequency and you understand adverbs of frequency. Practice using these words in sentences as you describe your daily routines to others, and when you practice speaking, you will also notice your grammar start to improve. Thank you for your time and for allowing me to help you on your English learning journey. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button and comment on the adverbs of frequency that you found the most interesting. If you are not yet a subscriber, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications to stay up to date with my latest English learning videos. You can also follow me on Facebook, Telegram, and Instagram for more English learning content, and all links can be found in the description of this video. Thank you for your time, and this is Ashley Hale with Level Up English signing out. Goodbye.